tickles your taste buds with her salty wit and her exceptional palate, all whilst guiding us through the land of low-sodium living. Brought to you in part by the support of Reeses Barkery Pawtique. ReesesBarkery.com, 815-363-7297. Today, how food impacts you, part 5. And we may just have somebody coming in that is going to be a special guest and a familiar face. Yes. When they get here, we'll celebrate that.
Yes, we will.
How are you, Mary?
I'm brain dead. Maybe I could find some food to impact that. I know how to say no, but I'm very good at spreading myself really, really thin.
Yeah, I think we all are nowadays.
So it's, as I'm sharing stuff and trying to talk about how my brain's dead while doing multitasking, how food impacted you. It's funny because the more I talk about this, obviously I've been doing this show for a while now. And every time I think about that, I forget that, we started this as a 6-week pilot. Now it's been going on 3 years.
3 years. Yeah.
Actually, come to think of it, I think this week is 3 years. I think we started the first week of September.
I think you're right.
Oh my gosh.
3 years. Happy anniversary.
Kind of makes me miss Pete.
Send your money to Mary Schepp.
Yeah. 216 the net, please. Sponsors, any sponsors?
Right.
Even though I've been dealing with cirrhosis since 2015, and then, the lesion on my spine since 2019,
yeah.
I forget how much food directly, like literally impacts you. We've been talking about how food impacts you from the standpoint of everybody's individual lives, because you have good, bad, and indifferent. And I think that so many times everybody focuses on how food impacts you negatively. Eating disorders and diets and weight issues and lethargy and sleep disorders and high blood pressure and heart disease and gut health and all of this stuff. And so many people talk about how hard and how negatively food can impact your life. And I don't think that we focus enough on the positive side of how food can impact your life. And that's kind of why I do the show, because obviously that's how I turned the corner with my disease. Liver disease is not an easy diagnosis. It's not a simple diagnosis, and it's not something that ever goes away. There are a lot of things that, like high blood pressure and diabetes, that with the proper diet, you can actually reverse diabetes. You can change your path. And I have changed my outcome with cirrhosis through diet, not to the point where it's ever going to go away. That scar tissue is there. I have a big giant hunk of scarred liver tissue in my rib cage, and it will never change. That being said, if it wasn't for my change in diet and plan, that I wouldn't be in the situation where I'm at, where I'm not on 9,000 different medications. So without that luxury, are you having issues? Or are you just trying to hear?
No,
I was like, what? You had a look on your face. I'm like, did we lose it again?
No.
The joys of radio and technology. Last week we lost like 2 minutes of airtime or whatever.
We're good though. No, I think it's the headphones, a little tingy. So that's why I take one off the ear. And
I don't know how you wear it. I couldn't do that.
And it sounds good. We digress. It's a rabbit hole we go down.
It's my show. I can digress as much as I want to.
The amazing thing to me about this whole series and doing a little bit of research and whatnot, and I sent you, a TikTok, and this person is talking exactly what you're talking about, the gut bio and all that stuff, and how certain foods affect you. Well, Alice and I started changing our lifestyle about 4 weeks ago. And this is our second week of no sugar. And I actually had something that had added sugar in. So it's
sure.
And after a week and a half, it tore me up.
It does.
And so I find it interesting, especially through this whole series with you, is how your body adjusts to protect itself, and all the chemicals that we eat, to your point, is the body doesn't like it, but then adjusts to the garbage that you put
It does. And that's the thing is, when you talk about how food impacts you, and I wanted to talk today about how it literally impacts you. And when you, especially like sugars, with eating low salt, you need sodium. You have to have sodium. The reason I don't eat high amount, or I have to watch how much salt I eat, is because of the fact that my liver, which is the main filtration part of your body, because it doesn't filter things properly and very fast, then essentially salt attracts water, and that water just accumulates in my body, which is bad for blood pressure, bad for your heart, bad for everything, because when the more water that's in your blood, the less oxygen your blood transports to the places that needs to go get oxygen, which is everything. So that's predominantly, it's not that I can't have salt because salt is bad and salt is inherently damaging to my liver. It's just that its natural property is to retain water. So, but when you talk about sugar, so sugar is metabolized in your liver the same way that alcohol is.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the drunk effect on you that alcohol does. So when you eat high amounts of sugar or high amounts of foods that convert to sugar and carbs and processed garbage, that's how people end up with fatty liver. So it's essentially the same thing. It just doesn't happen as quickly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, surprisingly, I would have never known until I got liver disease. There's a lot of people that I know that once they find out I have liver disease, they're like, oh yeah, I've got fatty liver. Like, you guys throw it out like you got a hangnail. It may be okay now when you're in your 40s or 50s, but I've seen what happens to people firsthand when they succumb to liver disease, and it is not a nice way to go.
Right.
So if at all possible, I would like to avoid that fate. But the fact that we focus so much on how food is negative.
Yeah.
Can't eat that, can't eat this. This makes me feel bad, or I have an eating disorder, or I have a bad relationship with food, or I need to diet. Everything has this negative connotation.
Yeah.
When I don't think people see how much, if you start focusing on what good it can do you, like you talking about not having sugars.
Yeah.
Once you stop having sugars, the second you start having them again, you realize how bad they were for you.
Yeah.
But when you eat natural sugars, it's the same with me. If I eat high sodium foods where the sodium is already present in the food and it's not an added salt, I don't react the same way. I don't retain the same amount of water. I don't have the blood pressure spike. I don't have the lethargy. I don't have the crash. And it's the same with sugar. So when I blow through my entire day's sugar limit every morning. I have yogurt, plain yogurt, honey, and some kind of fruit. Most often it's a banana, because as much as I despise bananas, I need the banana. We've had that conversation a million times. So that, yes, I do have coffee, and I'm a snob for snobby creamers, and it has added sugar in it. So I do. Just that morning coffee with creamer and yogurt and fruit and honey blows my entire day's sugar allotment.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean I don't eat sugar the rest of the day. It just means that I watch what kind of sugars I eat. Mm-hmm. So preferably they are natural sugars or complex carbs, potatoes, stuff like that. It's not breads and pastas and all that kind of stuff. But when I do eat it, I realize really quickly how much it makes me feel like garbage.
Yep.
Absolute garbage. Now that you've stopped eating sugar, if you do eat sugar, do you get a sugar headache?
Yeah. So Alice did that, stopped, and Lucy got a Sprite. And so Alice just literally took not even a straw full, just a real quick sip. And she goes, instant headache. Instant headache. Mm-hmm. And that's the truth. What the program that we're doing, that's what it does. But now, because we're changing this and some of the education that we're going through, much like you with the sodium, is, oh my gosh, this has 16 grams of sugar. Oh, and all of it's added sugar,
Right.
which is bad.
Right. And that's always been my argument is it's extremely difficult to change your food habits on a good day. And I wish it was simple. I wish that, and it sounds simple, eat better. It really does sound simple.
Yeah.
But, I think we were talking about this a little bit on the last show, where most people have a catastrophic event in their life that causes them to change their diet.
Right.
And like with Marty, we were talking about what's your bacon. And mine is my motivation to be better and eat better, I don't want to be a burden any more than my pain in the ass already is on my family. I'm not perfect, so I'm enough of a burden on my family and friends as it is as a human being, let alone when, you have to care for somebody full time and you do it because you love them. But I don't want to be that if I don't have to.
Yeah.
And if I change it now, I might have that option. And it is funny to me how much just paying attention to the label, like you said, you learn one little tidbit of information, and all of a sudden you're paying attention to the back of a can. You come on and sit down. So you pay attention, and all of a sudden you go, okay, I can have this, or I want this, but this is 16 added sugars of nothing but added sugar. Whereas you have something that's 16 sugars that's already in the product.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like I'll buy Ben, he likes cranberry juice. He loves the tart, super
especially drowned in vodka.
Whoops. Yeah, right. Right. No, who doesn't?
Oh, whoops.
I have found that orange juice and soda water still tastes like a mimosa, because the soda water, that carbon's got that bitterness to it. So it makes your orange juice bitter and fuzzy without the alcohol.
I will try that.
And I would do the same with, when I first was diagnosed with cirrhosis, I didn't want to talk about it. It's not that I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to make it the focus of the conversation. You don't want to show up to a party when everybody's drinking and be like, so I got a dead liver, but you guys keep drinking. I'm sitting proof of why you shouldn't drink, but just go ahead. So I would always bring cranberry and soda water.
Sure.
Because everybody just assumed Ben would go away and he would come back with a beer because he typically would drink an IPA. So you're not going to go to a party and have IPA. They're going to have Miller Lite or Budweiser or, whatever cheap beer they want to buy.
Of course, if any of those want to sponsor the show, it's the best beer out there. Send the check.
Or any one of the local craft breweries, because he would love all the IPAs. Oh, right. But he would come back with a beer in his hand and a Dixie cup with cranberry in it, and it looked like I was drinking a cranberry vodka. So for the first 2 years of my diagnosis, nobody knew other than the people close to me. So they just didn't talk about it. But you still get that same satisfaction, and that's the same with the sugars. You find something that makes you feel like you're winning, and you're more likely to succeed in that lifestyle change than focusing on the negative and saying, I can't have this, I can't have that, I can't have this.
Right.
So obviously those of you watching have noticed that Marty, Jalove.
Hey.
Good, nice. Nice pronunciation. Perfect. Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm late. I got screwed up on the time. I was drinking margaritas before I got here. Oh, no, I'm just joking.
Hey, man, it's a holiday weekend.
He thought it was mountain time. So you're early.
There you go. That's
right. It's probably like 5 o'clock somewhere. It's got to be. It's the exact opposite on the other side of the world. So it's nighttime in Singapore, right?
You don't mind. It was all about the bacon for me.
Yes,
exactly.
We did. We were actually talking about your bacon. If you were listening before,
I'm sorry I didn't bring any bacon.
Well,
I did actually bring you something this week.
Oh,
you get leftovers from dinner last night, which was garlic, beef, broccoli, stir fry.
Wow, that sounds great.
And it's healthy.
I like healthy. I like I like healthy. I like unhealthy. Right, and I love leftovers.
So I know that Kent would. I know he would love to have it because he eats everything cold. Which the first time I brought something, I think I brought manicotti. He literally picked up a stuffed manicotti like it was a burrito.
Yes,
cold out of the thing, pasta sauce all over his fingers. He's like, "Yeah, I don't really care for tomato sauce, but this shit's good."
Yeah, exactly. When it's cold, then it becomes finger food.
You're
right. It's all coagulated. It's I love eating cold lasagna like that.
Yeah,
you just hold it like the sandwich suddenly. Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you. You
guys are the only thing I really like cold leftover is pizza. I don't like reheated pizza.
See, now I love sandwiches, and so you take 2 pieces of pizza and use those as the bread to make a sandwich.
My husband does that.
Yes, so you put whatever you need in the middle, because the pizza that's got the bread, cheese, tomato sauce.
I've never done that,
it's
but
perfect.
I have now.
There you go.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So my husband's favorite thing to do, and he has this look on his face, and I know the look, and as soon as he has that look, I know the next words out of his mouth are going to be, "Will this sandwich?"
Yeah, no, wow, that's awesome.
Because anything he makes, and he'll look at me, he's like, "We still have, like, we have tortillas in the cabinet, we have bread in the cabinet. You made biscuits the other day. We have like, there's whatever it is. It's will it sandwich, right. And he will turn it into some kind of little
sandwich." Yes.
Yeah, he's nice.
I did when the pandemic first started. And everyone, I was one of those people that rushed to the store and hoarded food.
Yeah.
But I found all the canned food I liked was only the food I liked, so that nobody else in my family, like a Spam.
So you got food for you and nothing
completely.
For anybody in your family.
But what ended up happening, because it's the food I liked, first month of pandemic, I went through all my pandemic food. I ate everything. But I started in my blog, I started doing I stopped it after about a couple months. Desperate recipes. In other words, like the things you're supposed to make out of whatever food is left over. Brilliant. So I used everything as bread. Waffles, I used hard-boiled eggs as bread, and just making little sandwiches out of everything. And some of the stuff was like really good. Now it's become a staple in my life versus some of the stuff I'll never eat again. You know,
it's funny because for a while I had taken to using butter lettuce or bib lettuce.
Okay.
Because you can turn anything into a taco.
Sure.
Because the lettuce doesn't disintegrate, and you can put just about anything into it. And I forget what I was eating one day, but it was like 3 different kinds of leftovers put into this lettuce. And Ben's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "It's a leftover lettuce taco, I guess."
Yeah.
It holds all the stuff together. There was like a pasta in there.
Nice.
Or whatever.
I want to love the idea of making a taco or something in lettuce leaves. I love it. It makes sense. But I just feel cheated when I eat that. Like something about me.
You crumble up a couple Doritos on top, and then it's got the tortilla crunchy in it.
It's so much healthier that way, right?
No sodium at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the thing, though, and it's funny because on this topic, it's when I talk about when people ask how I'm successful in what I do, and I make it look so easy, the whole point is to not focus on the negative part of what you can't have. I can't have Doritos. I can't have this. I can't have that. Instead, you need to find a way to make it something that is sustainable.
Okay.
So when people tell me you don't have, and so many times I've been told you don't have to make this so low sodium, because I'll make a dish and I'll post the recipe, especially early on. And someone would point out like, "Oh, well, you can afford to add some soy sauce, or you can afford to add this, or you can afford to that," and make it taste a little bit better. Okay. Like it tastes just fine the way it is. It's not like in your face with those salted flavors, but it still tastes good.
Right.
But then I can add 10 pounds cheese on it.
There you go.
Because I don't want to give up the cheese. And if you take away those certain things from me, then I'm going to fail. So the same as we had taco salad the other night. Have you ever had the taco salad where it's literally everything you have in a taco?
Sure.
The meat, the lettuce, tomatoes, all that stuff, and Doritos and French dressing.
We do. Well, we use ranch.
Whatever. It's salad dressing and taco or in cheesy Doritos.
It's the only way to go.
Crunched up
and made a salad. That's literally a Jones.
It's a 90s salad.
That's it.
Yeah, and our kids are like, "Hey, Mom, can we have taco salad?" I mean,
you do the commercial.
Yeah,
Mom, we love that salad.
Right.
and I think the kids just like beating up the Doritos.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is by making the meat myself without using the spice packet that's loaded in salt. Yeah. Those are the kinds of things where when I reduce it enough, that means that I can still have the salad dressing and the Doritos. So I still win. I still get that exact same salad. I just had to make the meat spice myself.
Okay.
So not to use the stupid salty packet. And I mean, if I was going to do the ranch direction like you do, I'd have to actually make the ranch dressing. Thankfully, Dax has a really good ranch mix. So you just use that. I haven't plugged Dax in a long time.
And we'll be reaching out to Dax too.
Nice.
Yes.
There you go.
DaxSpices.com. They keep getting an Instagram hacker that keeps stealing their Instagram account. And they're not the only one. I know a lot of people that have had this. I think Dawn Bremer, I think she just had one.
I don't know.
If you have enough followers,
I don't
people.
follow her.
So instead of Marty on Instagram, they put Marty ...
Yeah, exactly.
And steal your stuff. And they kept, so every time I'm like, I keep getting these messages from you guys about something stupid. Like, hey, would you like to buy a beach ball? And you're a spice company.
Right.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
I reported it because I'm assuming it's not you.
Hey, take this survey. We'll send you a Yeti.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, click on this link. No.
Well, I hope somebody steals my profile and gets more followers, and then I can steal it back.
Yeah, no, they
That's
just
what I
hack
want.
your current followers and then cause them problems. Yeah, no, we don't get to see ourselves today. We can see ourselves on my little
I didn't know
screen.
what was going on.
Yeah,
It was a different deal today.
He's all screwed up.
Okay.
So
But does somebody get to see us? Is somebody looking?
Oh yes.
Oh, awesome.
Oh yes.
Then I'll just keep waving. every once in a
Hi
while.
Gwen. Gwen is one of my long time followers, and she gets mad whenever I change the show to a time that she can't watch it because she's in a different time zone. So one time when we were at like 7:00 in the morning, she was so mad because she's like, "I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. to listen. I like you, but I ain't getting up that early."
That's that difference between like and love.
I know, right?
That's it.
3 a.m. is the difference between like and love.
And of course, the master of happiness, right here, right?
Thank you. I have to correct you. It's not master of happiness.
Just master.
Got to take out the
happiness.
hat.
Right.
Of. Take out the of.
I am working on mastering happiness like everyone else.
Yes.
There you go.
It's more of a statement.
There you go.
Than a title, which is great.
Right.
And bacon is happiness.
There you go. It's all about the bacon.
You know, I offered to make a BLT the other day, and my husband turned it down.
He probably.
We ended up having lasagna for dinner.
Probably
so I mean,
looked at you going, I know you're going to replace the B with something else.
No,
it's not going to
no,
be bacon.
no.
That's it. I'm not going to be fooled again.
No,
Yeah.
I do. I make some
unsalted
bacon.
butter.
Yeah, well, a butter lettuce and tomato sandwich sounds pretty good too.
My mother-in-law will do that. Just chop up a tomato, throw it between some Wonder Bread.
Yep. It's deliciousness. Horribly bad for you, other than the tomato, but it is so good. Guilty pleasure.
So
what can I say?
I worked with this Polish woman that she said she treated herself once a year. She brought this lunch, this big sandwich, and she's about to eat it. And this other guy, all mutual friends, grabs the sandwich out of her hands and takes a bite out of it, just to kind of be, to joke about it. And he was like, "What is this?" And she goes, "It's a lard sandwich. It's a big slice of lard." And she goes, she treats herself to this once a year. For her, it was a treat. For him, it was a nightmare.
Right.
It was awful.
Why did I just put my mouth?
Exactly.
I could make a lard sandwich. I actually have a tub of lard in my.
But would you? And would you view it as a treat?
Yeah. Is that your one?
Like
go-to treat?
Your cheat day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a lard sandwich.
Going in deep. How thick was the lard? I mean,
it was thick. It looked like a big slice of meatloaf in there, but it was pale.
I mean,
and it was on white bread, so it was good for you.
Yeah.
That's like
the lesson learned there is he's never grabbed it.
Not at all.
Sandwich
not at all.
Well, that's like Vegemite. That's I think an
I've never
Australian
had
thing.
that. I would just because of the song.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
I've never heard anyone say they enjoy it.
Yeah.
But they wrote a whole song about it.
I knew someone from Australia that she used to love it, and she was mad that you couldn't get it here. Like it was hard to find here, and then at the same time she despised peanut butter because they don't have peanut butter over there.
So
wow,
with food brings a lot of people happiness.
Yes.
Everybody. I don't care when you eat your favorite meal or you get a good meal. You're like, oh, that's good.
Right.
So you put these out on, you're like, hey, here's this low sodium because you want people to be happy and enjoy. And if it brings so much joy, why is it that then people are like, hey, you need to put in soy sauce,
They do. I think the best was when I made my cinnamon roll recipe. The goal of this recipe was to mimic Cinnabons.
Yeah.
And the vast majority of people has had a Cinnabon at some point in time, and if you haven't, find one near you. It's just a big giant thing of decadence.
If you make that for me, I need 3 people to be pushing me and shoes to be squeaking, so I think I'm at the mall.
Correct. Right.
Nice.
Need to be in a food court. I need a food court. So that was the goal, is to replicate the taste of that recipe and the sensation that I'm eating a cinnamon roll. Because it's not that cinnamon rolls to me are much like pizza. They're always good. There's just really good, and then there's okay, but I'm still going to eat it because it's a cinnamon roll.
Right, because it's the name.
And you'll criticize it. Be like, this is kind of crunchy, or it could use more of this, or but you're still gonna. It's like pizza. This
Don't
is the
put
worst pizza I've ever eaten. Can I have another?
Really bad pizza. I didn't put it away. I
Right.
feel like I kept
But
eating
you're
it.
like,
But
this
this
is
terrible.
garbage
I
pizza.
can't believe
I
somebody would ruin pizza like this.
And then you eat another piece.
Right.
When you find raisins in your cinnamon roll, that's that. It's like, what?
No, I'm a raisin fan. I like
See,
raisins.
I am, but not in my rolls.
No, not in the
Not in my
rolls.
rolls. No. But I
It's
would
like
still
walnuts
eat the
and
cinnamon.
brownies.
If it
You
was
don't
a
do it.
cinnamon raisin roll, I would still eat it and
Oh,
probably
yeah.
be like,
Oh, yeah.
do I want another one?
So you don't like raisins at all?
No, I like raisins.
Oh,
Just
okay.
not in the roll.
Yeah, I
All
enjoy
right.
it.
So I have to tell you a short story, just because that's all I am is full of stories. So I go camping or an outing with my brothers every year. We've been doing this for 35 years since my father passed away.
Yeah.
Right. So we've been doing this on a regular basis. So one year we went camping at this place that was near a county fair. It was up in Wisconsin somewhere. So I was telling my brothers, we got to go to the county fair. We got to do this. It's this exciting thing. And there's about 8 of us, my brothers, nephews, my son. So we get to the county fair. We're walking around and there's a pie stand. And I'm telling everyone, we got to eat this pie. We got to have pie. We're at a county fair. You have to have pie. Everyone's got to have pie, right? They're like, I don't want any pie. Next to bacon, pie is my favorite thing.
Yeah, you're right.
So I stand up there. I'm like, come on, everyone, order pie, order pie. Nobody can get the same pie, right? So I'm getting all my brothers. They're like, I don't know. Get the apple pie. All right, get the peach pie. We're going through every single pie. We're all done. I'm the last one because I pushed everyone into it. The only pie they had left was raisin pie. Okay. And I go, raisin pie? And my brother goes, you set the rules. No duplicating. You got to have the raisin.
Right.
I go, well, then I'll have the raisin pie. There's got to be something more than raisins in it, right?
No.
I tell the woman, can I have the raisin pie? They all stopped and they looked at each other. He wants the raisin pie, right? The people, the vendor, they served that to me. It was so thick.
Yeah.
It was like those little boxes of raisins, like 30 of them shoved into one slice of pie. It was more raisins than anyone should eat in their lifetime. And of course, like pizza, I finished it.
Yeah.
I ate the thing constantly. That has a really interesting effect on your entire metabolism.
the rest of the camping.
Oh yeah, that was a really rough camping trip.
Right. Well, that's what's funny is the cinnamon rolls. I made them to mimic that recipe, but to be low sodium.
Okay.
It's obviously a treat. It's a cinnamon roll.
Yes.
It's flour, bread type material with lots of butter and sugar and cinnamon. It's literally not everything about it screams this is not your diet. And the immediate 15 first posts was, this is so unhealthy for you. This is this, and it was in a low sodium group that I'm in.
Right.
And I'm the few people that are regulars in the group and they're close friends of mine. And, Gwen is one of them. They're all like, you gotta be kidding me. It's obvious. This is a treat.
Yeah.
We get it that it's 9,000 calories. You shouldn't probably have a cinnamon roll the size of your head. You should have a normal serving.
Or a little larger.
But if you're going to have a treat, because I think I made it around the holidays. And the point was, again, showing that if you create a lifestyle change that is sustainable. So when you go to Thanksgiving and you're the one that brings the cinnamon rolls, if you can't eat anything else on that table, but at the end of the day, you can at least have one of those cinnamon rolls.
All right, I'll buy
You know what?
Sure.
You didn't have a bad Thanksgiving. And those were the kinds of things where the same with, the ice cream that I like or being able to put cheese on the stuff that I want. When you start focusing and say, okay, if I'm going to add all of the stuff that I need to have,
right,
then you're not focusing on eliminating the things that you can't have.
Okay.
So if you say, I can't have bacon, I can't have eggs, I can't have cheese, I can't have wine, I can't, you're going to fail.
Right.
You're going to do that change. And that doesn't matter what it is. It's the same in, you want to talk business and mastering happiness. Yeah. Someone had asked me last week at one of my networking meetings, how do I do it when I feel overwhelmed? Because you're giving me an anxiety attack just listening to you talk to someone about what your day is today. And I'm already wanting to shut down because my day is not even close to yours, but I have so much to do today.
Right.
I don't even want to start.
Yeah.
So I said, what's the worst thing on your plate today? What is the absolute worst thing that you have to do today? She said, well, I have to make a phone call to this client. It's bad news. I said, then as soon as you leave this meeting, that's the first thing you do. Hands down. She says, I don't have to, I don't care when you have to call him. Call him. The first thing you should do is that. And she says, why? So because then no matter what you do, if that totally wipes you out and you got nothing else done today and you go home and sit in your comfy pants and pout, you're still going to feel like you accomplished something today.
Yeah.
There's that book, something about Swallow the Frog.
Right.
Yeah, it's where you eat this largest. If you knew you have to eat a frog every single day, do it first thing in the morning, so that at least you eliminate the anxiety of the rest of the day.
And it's the same. So if you tell yourself, okay,
and these are low sodium frogs,
right?
Okay, so
frogs is actually low sodium.
I've never eaten, but lick the toad.
All right, there you go.
Frog is gross. I'm sorry.
I like frog legs, actually. Frog legs are delicious.
No. I've eaten a lot. I've eaten just about everything. I've eaten snake and squirrel and deer and game meats and just about everything you can think of that I can get my hands on readily, because obviously we live here and I don't live somewhere where I can eat kangaroo or whatever. Frog is one of those things that just, I've tried it. I tried it again. I thought maybe I got people that didn't know how to cook it, and you come anywhere near me and it's like,
you really just can't get past the idea of knowing that it's frogs.
Oh hell no! I'll eat anything. I don't care. The fact that it's a frog,
the frog, it doesn't have that distinctive of flavor. Frog legs.
See,
and it's
but that's relative.
That's true.
Right. There's people who don't like crawfish.
Okay.
Which they're just wrong.
Right.
I don't
understand that.
I'm not wrong for not wanting frog, but you're wrong for not liking crawfish.
Right. That's right.
My rights and your wrongs.
I have very few foods that I would say that I don't like. I'll eat almost anything. The top of my list is pesto and Nutella. Those are the two foods I don't like eating.
Huh.
Really? You don't like pesto?
No.
Like any pesto?
No. There's something.
See, I just go green beans. Don't like green beans. Won't put them in my mouth.
Really? Oh, I sit there. That's part of my.
I love green beans.
I bought a big case of canned green beans, and I could eat the green beans right out of the can like a hobo.
Same.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
I was joking a couple weeks ago. I looked at my husband. I said, "You realize that's supposed to be three servings of green beans?" He didn't want any because whatever I made, he's like, "This is enough," and I just don't feel like green beans. I was like, "All right, whatever. I don't care." Yeah. I ate the entire can of green beans.
Yeah.
And I was laughing. He says, "What's so funny?" I said, "It's supposed to be 3 servings." And I'm sitting here debating on whether or not I wanted to open another thing of green beans.
Nice. Exactly. I love it. My wife goes, "Oh my God, am I not taking care of you?" I'm fine. I like the green beans that I'm eating. And she goes, "I would never eat those." I'm thinking about this. Don't you think it's a genius idea to make the hobo cookbook? And it's like 24 pages of food you can eat right out of the can. You don't have to warm it up or anything. Okay.
That's my brother-in-law. The amount of times I've seen him eating like SpaghettiOs straight out of the can. He's a man of necessity.
That's it.
He eats to live. He does not live to eat.
That's beautiful. I wish I could cop that.
If he needs sustenance, he'll bring like 3 tomatoes to work and just eat the tomato like an apple because he doesn't care. He eats for a live. So I left the door open, but
I left it open.
See, it's your fault. You came in last. Your fault.
You want me to go shut it?
No, it's
all right.
Okay. We just hear Eli.
You never know who's going to wander in.
Pretty sure it's probably Steph and Eli running around the studio always. So when people talk about, in this whole time, we're talking about how food affects your life, and I do like touching on how much it literally affects you. And when you start adding the things that you need to eat, there's less room for things that you shouldn't be eating. So it doesn't mean you can't have them.
Okay.
But when you do, like with green beans, if you like green beans and you're eating green beans, you find, you've eaten something. It's like grapes. If you snack on grapes, they're surprisingly filling.
Sure.
So when you start saying, okay, I need to eat certain things because that food is literally the instructions for what your body should be doing.
Okay.
So if there's been a lot of research, the gut biology is new. I mean, the biology behind it is not new, but the science and what they're learning and how it affects Alzheimer's and autoimmune disorders and all of these different things, and how it's directly related to your gut. They're starting to learn more and more and more. So when you add the things in that you need to give your body the proper instructions, it eliminates everything else.
Okay.
But like Kent was saying earlier, right before you walked in, you have a little bit of sugar after you haven't been sugar for a while and you get a headache.
Okay.
I stopped eating candy of pretty much any kind. And the one day I popped an Altoid in my mouth because I'm going in a meeting. I've been driving for an hour and a half all the way to the city and drinking coffee and Like, holy crap. Like I can smell my breath. I'm going to chomp on an Altoid real quick. And I had a migraine by the time I got to their office.
Okay.
So when you start eliminating those things, when your body, it's much like alcohol or cigarettes or anything else or painkillers. Once you get used to a certain level of misery, your body just forgets that it's happening. I call it the stub toe. You stub your toe in the morning and it hurts really, really bad, but then you got to go through your day. You're not going to do your day because of a stub toe. So throughout the day, you forget that your toe hurts.
Right.
You think it's gone. It wasn't that bad. You lay down at night, the noise of the world stops, and you go, holy crap. Like, I must have broke my toe. Like, it started hurting again.
Okay.
And it's the same concept. So when you go through every day, and whether you're drinking or smoking or eating garbage, your body gets used to how horrible you feel. And that cellular inflammation is so constant that the headache goes away. So the second you get rid of those sugars and those bad foods and that cellular inflammation goes back down, as soon as you introduce what was aggravating it, boom, like you with your headache. The second you go back is when you start feeling like garbage again. Because they've proven, and that's what's funny, there's so many things that affect your body in a good way.
Sure.
Sweet potatoes, oats, beans, they increase serotonin in your body. Proteins, fish, eggs, yogurt, beef, lean meats, and stuff like that, increase dopamine. Fruits and veggies have been proven to help with happiness.
Okay.
So when you're not eating these things, it's not that you eat too much French fries from McDonald's that is causing the problem. It's the fact that that's so nutritionally void that you're not eating the things that your body actually does need to sustain.
So you're just saying there are sometimes that's the absence of good food.
Correct.
It's worse than the abundance.
And that's exactly what it is. So it's not the
Interesting.
McDonald's or the Subway or the cheese or the pie that you're eating that's bad.
Right.
It's the fact that you filled up on a piece of pie because your stomach really is only supposed to have 4 to 6 ounces of food.
46 ounces?
Right. So this is a serving.
Yes.
And Pete and I used to always argue that because if you put out your hand and whatever you can fit in the palm of your hand is a serving.
Uh-huh.
So when you look at your plate, like last night, my plate was full.
Yeah.
And I went back for seconds. It was like 10 servings of food. Don't care.
Fun fact, you can take a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts and squeeze them into one serving.
Oh, you can.
Like that.
Oh, you can. I always thought the serving was by the box.
Yeah,
so just because there's a dozen in a box, it's like Oreos. A serving is a sleeve of Oreos.
Oh, of course. Right.
So a box of Oreos is a serving for me and a serving for you, and you share with a friend, right?
That's nice.
I mean, that's how I've always pictured it. But when you that's exactly what it is. I mean, yes, I'm sure that if you ate enough deep fried French fries, it would be bad. But it's not the French fries that are going to kill you. You're not going to overdose on French fries. I mean, I'm sure you could if you're in one of those eating competitions and you just eat a bunch of stuff. Right. That sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the fact that by doing those things that you're not eating what you're supposed to be eating.
Sure.
Then your body doesn't know what to do, so it starts storing what it can when it can.
Okay.
So if you don't get the proper nutrients, that's how you get. I used to get calcium deposits in these little bubbles everywhere, and you can squish them. They're just little fatty deposits all over my body. I would get ganglion cysts in my wrists, so I get in between the joints, and you get all of these because your body just doesn't know what to do. If you're living on garbage, then all of a sudden you eat something and it goes, I'm going to store some calcium and magnesium. I'm going to store some iron. And then you have kidney stones and gallstones because your body's going, holy crap, I haven't had green beans in 6 months. Right. I'm going to store everything that is nutrient in there.
Oh, wow.
And keep it.
Gotcha.
And because I don't know when I'm going to get it again.
Okay.
So food can literally make or break you. And I think it's too easy to focus on how horrible it is for you.
Right.
To see how much it can actually change you for the better.
I like this approach a little bit different. I mean, you're not saying that bad food is not bad. You're not saying that, but you're just saying that it does fill in a void too much. And we avoid then eating this healthy food that we should just concentrate on. And I like this approach of just saying, don't eliminate the bad food. You're going to eat that every once in a while. Okay, you're going to have the Cinnabons that you make.
Right.
You're going to do those kind of things, but it's important to also just make sure we do the good things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a great approach.
And that's where you need to make it sustainable.
Right.
Because you otherwise these diets, 30-day diet, 60-day diet, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Again. Yeah. So again.
Are you even on? Are you
Yeah,
on? Were you not?
Yeah, I muted myself. Food should make you happy,
right?
So
yes,
and you shouldn't have to cut out things. Yes,
right.
There's unhealthy food, big deal. But if you focus on your happiness and say, well, okay, I don't necessarily need all that sugar
right.
to be happy. I don't need the Little Debbie's zebra cakes to make me happy, as though I enjoy them. I can be just as happy with a bowl of strawberries with a little dollop of Cool Whip on it.
Yeah.
Right. Cool Whip.
What are you, Stewie?
Yeah.
That's right.
Another thing I want to add to that is you say food should make us happy. I want us to really concentrate on the fact of try not to make food. Don't look for food to make you happy.
Right.
Find happiness everywhere else, and
right.
food should just add
right.
to that happiness.
Right.
It should accent it, because I lived a whole life. I mean, I used to be a lot heavier, and I lost a lot of weight. And I lived through that whole thing of going, I was looking for happiness, and I found it in the sandwich.
Right.
Okay. And what was wrong about that was, so when you were depressed, I'd go and eat something. If I was happy, I'd go and eat something. If I felt nothing, I would eat something, no matter what. And because I was looking for that connection to food. And so it's important to say, yes, food makes me happy, but it's not the primary thing that makes me happy. It's an addition to it. It's like adding a little salt to something.
Or a Cool Whip.
Yeah, Cool Whip, yeah.
I need to find that Family Guy clip.
Yes.
Why are you saying it like that?
What?
So now I'm going to go home and Ben's going to be watching Family Guy.
Yes.
So it's funny that you say that, because in my retail world,
okay,
I was introduced to finding the root cause.
Okay.
Of things, because when your sales drop or your KPIs drop or whatever, and it's find the root cause. And in my brain, I pulled that back into the same, like with food. Why do I need ice cream? Am I eating ice cream because I like ice cream?
Right.
Or am I eating ice cream because it's like drinking alcohol or doing drugs? Am I doing this because I don't want to think about what I really don't want to think about?
Yeah.
And it's that root cause. What's the cause of your weight gain? What's the cause of your heart problem? What's the cause of your sadness?
Sure.
And the problem is there's so many people that don't realize that a lot of their depression, their anxiety, and their mood swings and their sleep disorders are directly related to the foods that they do or do not consume. So and there also are people who just, their perspective from their childhood and throughout their life is already going to be set in stone. If you have, take my husband, for instance, he is a negative, pessimistic man. He sees the negative.
I love him dearly.
I do.
Yeah.
We are polar opposites. The amount of times he's looked at me and gone, so what's the silver lining on this one? Between his car accident, my liver disease, and the hole in my spine, like everything, like anything that has ever happened, it's so where's the silver lining? And I always find one.
Sure,
and he looks, he's like, I hate you. I hate you. I'm going to walk over here and do something else because you don't make any sense. But he still finds happiness and finds things, but his automatic go-to. So it's much more difficult for somebody like that where their mindset is already geared that way. Yeah. So it's a lot of effort for someone like me who's already optimistic to wake up and be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed every morning. It doesn't happen that way. Even with someone who is genuinely trying to find the good in the world.
Right.
I woke up this morning going, oh, no. I don't want to do it, because you just do. But I think that root cause of finding why you're doing the things that you're doing, whether it be food or otherwise, is going to be that key to finding, because it switches simply by asking the question. It forces you to try and think of things that you have to be happy about.
Right. One of the things I tell everyone is this. I said, keep a list. I keep a list on my phone. I tell people, jot it down anywhere. Start out with like 3 things. 3 things that bring you joy, bring you happiness, something that is positive. And you just start out with 3, add to it, turn it into 5 to 10 to 20, and you just continue building the list. And it does 2 things. One is if I'm really feeling down, I can always look at that list and remind myself and be grateful for those things.
Right.
The other thing that's interesting is on my list is rain. I love rain when it's pitter-pattering on the window and I'm in the house and I'm looking outside and I hear it and I can see it. And it's that coolness where it breaks the heat. Everything.
Smell.
Exactly. So everything about rain is wonderful. So then one day it's raining really hard. I'm outside. I'm trying to get in the house and I said, I hate rain. And I realized that I had already put rain on I love rain. So I laughed at it and I said, I told somebody, you can't be on both lists. And somebody goes, well, why can't you put it on both lists? I said, first off, you shouldn't be keeping a list of the things that you hate.
Right.
Only keep a list of the things you love. And because then what it made me do is it changed my mindset on the rain. And I thought, you know what? It's not, I don't love the rain right now, but I do like the rain. Right. And it was okay. And so that's why I keep a list of those things that bring me joy.
You didn't appreciate the situation you were in.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's funny that you say that because I love my husband and I love my family. It doesn't mean I like them all the time.
That is so true. That is so true.
So the funny thing is, though, when you have that same list and you say, okay, so what makes me happy? And I say ice cream makes me happy.
Okay.
And then you dig deeper and go, so what? Why? Why does ice cream make me happy? And usually it comes back to something else that makes you happy. You've just so long forgotten what that is that because you're in a bad place and you want to go back to that happy place, you think it's the ice cream that makes you happy when it's the original memory. When we were younger and every time we won a softball game, we would go to Don's Dairy Frost.
Right.
And that was my happy. That was my stupid little mini. You get the smallest, literally the world's smallest ice cream cone, unless your parents bought you the bigger ice cream cone.
Right.
But the coach would buy everybody the tiny little ice cream cone.
Sure.
And cheese curds. Because who doesn't like fried cheese curds?
Especially with ice cream. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean.
With a little pesto on top. Oh, man.
See, I'm going to have to make you some pesto.
I don't think you're going
to.
You can make it. Doesn't mean you'll eat it.
Exactly.
Do you like beets?
I do like beets.
Have you ever had beet leaf pesto?
No, that's interesting. All right.
Celery pesto, basil pesto. Like there's a million different kinds of pesto. It doesn't have to be pine nut pesto.
Yeah.
So, but if you find that root of why and that's so often when people go to a food, unless it's a mind-altering food like alcohol where it actually dumbs you down so you don't have to feel feelings, which is not actually how that works. You just don't remember that you're feeling feelings while you're an asshole to the rest of the world. But when you find that root cause and say, okay, so, I'm going to put ice cream on my happy list because I'm addicted to ice cream and I'm not scared to admit it.
Okay.
But that's why. It's not because I want to find that happy place. It's because now at this point in my life, I'm happier than I've ever been. I just like ice cream.
Okay.
And
so I watch how much I eat it.
And you get to a point. So, my challenge this year was no alcohol for the whole year.
Right.
We're 8 months in. We're doing good.
Awesome. Good for you.
And right. But it was just, because I'm never going to run a marathon. So this is my mental challenge, just so you know.
All right.
Not that I have a problem.
It's all the little wins. That's it.
And now I watch, people drinking or friends and neighbors when we're at, sitting around the fire or whatever. And, they'll rub you, hey, are you ready for that beer? And my knees actually go, I really like not being swollen right now and getting up in the morning and being able to move. So there comes a point where you start listening to your body.
Right.
And your body goes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
Next week, I'll be up in the woods of Wisconsin. This will be the 20th year for me and my buddies. We call it Man Camp. And
cool.
Yeah. When we closed on my house and I gave you a bottle of scotch, you bought scotch up there with you.
Yeah, we took it and drank it in minutes. And so
expensive bottle of scotch.
When we go up there, it was just make sure nobody falls in the fire.
Yeah,
that's it.
Right,
yeah, I agree.
Right, so it's we inebriate ourselves and just no women or children. So this is it. And everybody's like, "What are you going to do this year?" I go, "I guess I'm
do the same thing.
I guess I'm going to sit there and make fun of the people who are drunk."
Sure,
right.
Sure.
Videotape everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then everybody says this is what I love about humans. Everybody says this. well, take that 5 days and then just put it on to the end.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
everybody's finding a cheat for you.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Looking for that cheat code. And I laughed. And I said, I don't know. Maybe I'll drink. I said, I don't know. We have to see. But so far, in every opportunity that I've had, my body has said, I really appreciate you
That's
not
nice.
drinking
Right.
this year. You know?
The truth of that, though, is also because you haven't been doing it. And when people talk about building up a tolerance, you don't really build up a tolerance. Your body learns to function under duress.
Okay. Yes.
So it's like a Navy SEAL. You throw him into combat for the first time, he ain't going to know what the fuck he's doing.
Right.
Period.
Okay.
But you train them and you put them through all of this stuff.
Okay.
It's not that they build up a tolerance. They don't build up a tolerance where they can go dive into an ice cold ocean because they don't feel cold anymore and it will be enjoyable for them.
Sure.
They have learned how to cope with that situation under duress.
Okay.
So your body is the same amount of drunk.
Sure.
Whether you've been drinking your entire life or this is the first drink you've ever had.
Okay.
No matter what, your cognitive ability is still impaired to the same level. Yeah. Your body has just learned how to function and say, okay, if I'm going to be drunk all the time, I'm going to have to learn how to walk drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the same with too much sugar, too much fat, too much salt. Your body says, okay, you have so much sugar, I'm going to have to store this, that, and the other, or build up this, that, or the other to be able to function as much as humanly possible. And it may shut down an organ or two in the process and you don't realize it. And the next thing you know, you need a new gallbladder, a new kidney, new liver, new spleen, no whatever, because your body said, well, you know what? We need to make this function over here. So we're going to just stop feeding that over there. So that's why I love the word tolerance because it's just learning to work under duress.
So Dean Martin's quote was he hated or he felt sorry for people who didn't drink.
Mm-hmm.
He felt sorry for people who didn't drink because in the morning when they woke up, that's the best they're going to feel all day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So.
And
that's really funny.
It is. And I right along with you where after I quit drinking, it was probably month 5 or 6 that I specifically remember a change in my actual thought process.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had someone said something and it sparked a memory and I was like, oh, I remember that when you were at our house, and I stopped and I was like, are you going to finish that sentence?
Yeah.
And I was instantly depressed because I'm like, holy crap, I said the dumbest thing to you.
Right.
It wasn't insultive. It wasn't mean. It wasn't horrible. But I can remember my thought process for my actions back then. And now I realize what an actual moron I was when I was drunk and how my thought process was impaired when I was under the influence of alcohol. And it doesn't mean that if I could drink today, I probably would have a drink occasionally. Right. But the amount in which we would drink because we were young and we could is different than I'm going to have a glass of scotch with dinner because I like scotch. So it takes a significant amount of time, regardless of whether and it's alcohol or sugars or salts or fats or anything, for your body to adjust and go, hey, we're good.
Yeah. Right.
we're good on this path. Like and it does to your point. And that's why I always say you don't know how bad you feel until you feel better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And when I look at my doctors and tell them, when the lady, I really want to walk around with a GoPro on my head and just record everybody's expressions.
Right.
Because when she said she wanted to put me on gabapentin and blah, 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 and goes down this list, and I said, no. She went, excuse me?
Right.
And I said, no, I'm good. She said, well, you said your pain level's increasing. It is, but no, I'm young. And if I start this path now, I'm going to have a cabinet full of crap.
Right.
Like I already went down that path with my liver. Let's see how I can do. And I've managed to stave off all that stuff.
It's like with your grandparents. Okay, what's that pill do? Well, that's my blood pressure pill.
Yeah.
Well, what's the blue one do? Well, that offsets the side effects for my blood pressure.
Right.
Well, what's the red one for? Oh, that's for this. What's that one for? It's the offset the two, and then this and this. So you end up taking a salad of.
So
and the white pill is to remind me to take the red pill.
Right.
You know,
my favorite. I don't know what the drug is. There's a commercial,
pop.
Right?
Oh, sorry.
There's a commercial, and in the commercial, it's I can't pronounce the disorder. There's an antidepressant drug that causes neurological twitching. So your face twitches and whatever.
The drug does.
Right. So the drug causes this twitching, and so the drug that the commercial is for is to stop the twitching.
Oh, good.
And it actually says in the commercial, we don't know why this happens.
Wait, they don't know why it's twitching, or we don't know.
They don't know why it stops the twitching.
Oh, that's good. So try it.
We don't know why.
Yeah, exactly. So try it.
We don't know why that drug causes twitching, and we don't know why this drug stops the twitching, but it has been proven to reduce facial blah, 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 blah. So maybe talk to your doctor about trying it. It's
and if
like,
you get another side effect, we'll create another drug. We'll all be good.
Sorry about the anal leakage, but
right.
Back to the petri dish.
Take this pill as a cork.
Right. So I'm sitting here going, in the reality of it is especially with depression. So my husband's the poster child for side effects. Same as myself. He just, every depressive antidepressant they put him on over the years. The last one, they put him on Cymbalta after his car accident because he just had a major car accident. Okay. And he's got 6 broken bones. On top of being a negative person, when I walked in and the doctor says, well, we put him on Cymbalta this morning. And I said, what? Why? He says, well, he's going to be in a hospital at that time. He's going to be in a hospital for 6 months. Right.
Wow.
Depression is a really big thing. I get that, but you should have consulted me first because he's, on IV Dilaudid. The guy he barely knows that he exists right now. He's on cloud 9. He's got 6 broken bones. It took us 9 weeks and a psychotic episode to get him weaned off of that.
Wow.
But he couldn't sleep. I mean, every side effect that drug has, he had. So what did we do over the years? And before he went on that, before his accident, we had started to change certain things. Like we cut out caffeine, we cut out soda, to give him a better chance at managing his moods.
Okay.
Through food. So he hasn't been on any kind of drug since his car accident in 2013. And he wouldn't have gone on that had they not put on it.
Oh, completely off of it.
Right. He has,
good.
And even before
Excellent.
that,
That's
he
great.
hasn't been on medication for years for the same reason. Because every time he went on them, they would help his mood. They would make him this mellow, kind of happy, laid back guy.
Yeah.
So he wasn't himself, which was weird.
Yeah.
But then he had huge side effects.
Okay.
So we changed his diet, and surprisingly enough, diet and the lack of proper nutrients in your gut biology, they are starting to prove more and more directly affects your metabolism. So we got a couple minutes left. So before I can't see the hub.
About 2 minutes.
Oh, there we go. How do we find you? Who are you and how do we find you?
Right,
Since you're late and we couldn't talk to you in the beginning
I
of the
appreciate it. So I'm Marty Jalub. My company's Master Happiness. I help people, businesses find their happiness, asking the question, what's your bacon? What gets you up and going in the morning? So you can find me at masterhappiness.com, what'sYourBacon.com. Follow me on social media. I'd love to talk.
I know, and that's why I had to have you back, because I figured why not bacon and more bacon on a show with low sodium, even though we're not eating bacon. And yes, please, yes. Well, I get mine fresh from the farm, so
even better.
I don't believe you. Let's bring that in next time.
Yeah, exactly.
I will bring in.
I'll let you know if it's good bacon.
I will I'll get some guinea hog soon, and not guinea pig. I made the mistake of saying that once. It's not a guinea pig. It's guinea hog.
Yeah, guinea pigs. That would be such small bacon. That would be.
Cuy is very tasty. So I won't eat frog legs, but I will eat guinea pigs. It's whatever. That's topic for another show. Yes, please like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube. Yes,
household pets.
Right.
With Mary Schepp.
Salted guinea pigs. Follow us on YouTube. The more subscribers we have, the more luxuries we have. So please, and find us next week. I got another special guest coming in, and then do we have a new In the Know with Steph and Joe at 3:00 today?
Not today. They're off for the long weekend.
Oh, that's right. It's a holiday weekend.
Yeah, we've got the neighborhood pulse coming up at 1, so we'll see you in about an hour, folks.
Woohoo!
Thank you. Bye-bye.